How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to actually be looking at the Mustang GTD and specifically taking a more in-depth look at its engine and its drivetrain. I know I just put out a video reacting to this Mustang GT actually on the Nürburgring for its testing last week. It received a lot of views and I think like a lot of you guys liked it and liked hearing about it. So looking at today's kind of topic, we're just going to be kind of breaking down the drivetrain, seeing what this new Mustang GTD is actually going to be capable of. And also definitely be sure to stick till the very end of the video because I'm going to be talking about how you can win like 50 bucks because I'm going to be giving it away to one lucky commenter on today's video. But now looking at the overall drivetrain of this Mustang here, so we're on Ford's website right now and just looking at some of its main specs. So we already know that the targeted max horsepower is over 800 horsepower. It should have a targeted track top speed of over 190 miles per hour, and they are aiming to break that 7-minute mark in the Nürburgring. Now, looking at my previous video and talking with some of you guys in the comments, it definitely should be more of a competitor to some of Porsche's models that have, you know, put up really good numbers on the Nürburgring in previous years. It's definitely not, I know I kind of compared it to the ZL1 in that last video, but it's not going to be in the same category as the ZL1. Now we do know domestically, you know, the rivalry between the Mustang and the Camaro, it would be awesome for this to perform better than the ZL1 did. But it should almost like basically guarantee the ZL1 because the ZL1 I believe came in at around 7 minutes and 16 seconds. And this Mustang GT, after looking at it more, should 100% definitely be lower than the 7-minute mark for its official like Nürburgring lap time. And going off of some of my notes here, the main thing that we do know about this Mustang GTD's drivetrain is, at least for the engine, it should mainly be based off the bullet that is found in the 2020 GT500. So if you don't know, the 2020 GT500, it is the Predator platform, and it originally came with a 7-speed dual-clutch auto transmission, made 760 horsepower from factory, and the engine was a 5.2-liter double overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder supercharged V8, and that supercharger was a 2.65-liter supercharger, and they never kind of came out with a manual option for those GT500s, but with the dual clutch automatic transmission, it was essentially built to be a Hellcat killer. So Ford is kind of using that car as its main platform for this GTD. I know in the first video I kind of asked you guys and asked whether it would be, you know, a cross-plane crank, but a flat plane crank. But actually now looking back into like some of the track footage and even this clip of it kind of idling right here, you can definitely tell that it is probably just from the idle alone. It's a cross-plane crank engine. So now looking at just some of the other things that are on Ford's website here. So this is another and very, very important part. Not necessarily the highlighted part, but yes, it is going to be a supercharged 5.2-liter V8. Should again be very, very similar to that Predator platform, but the near 50-50 weight distribution. So we can see the actual drivetrain kind of laid out in front of us right here, and that is very, very important for a track car. Yes, it's going to be a GT series car. The price tag is over $300,000 US. It's a race car. There's no doubt about it. I know some people were commenting in my previous video saying like, how could Ford charge $300,000+ for a Mustang? It's not just a Mustang. It is a Mustang that is going to compete in the GT3 series and GT Racing series. So when you're buying this thing, for any rich collectors out there or people who are actually going to buy this and drive it on the street, it's a race car. And then even right here, here's a better look at that rear suspension, the rear semi-active suspension on it. And these are the springs that you can actually see through that window in where the back seats should be in a normal Mustang, which we're obviously not getting with the GTD because it's a stripped down race car. But that's kind of like a cool little weird feature that they kind of added where you can actually look at the suspension through that window. Now this is another thing. I know we're not really talking about the drivetrain here, but the titanium exhaust tips, I know the entire exhaust system is going to be titanium because it is going to be more lightweight. They're focused on weight savings in every aspect that they can. But I just don't like the exhaust tips. This is a stupid, very, very stupid thing to complain about. But let me know your opinions about these exhaust tips down in the comments below. I feel like they're very weird. They almost remind me of like the base model C8 exhaust tips with those like kind of dual squares. I don't know. I just don't really like it. And now looking at some of the other pictures of just its body here and kind of focusing away from the drivetrain, obviously we talked about it's basically a wider body from factory that's mainly to fit wider tires in and, you know, fit all the different suspension components that aren't going to come on a normal Mustang GT, but it also does have an active DRS system as well, and that's, again, it's a race car. It's meant to be focusing on all sorts of different downforce. And just looking back at the 2020 GT500 and how it was able to make 760 horsepower from factory, and there's plenty GT500s now that you can find on YouTube from other influencers that may have them that are making well over 1,000 horsepower. It should be very, very easy for Ford's engineers to go back on that platform that they're going to use as the building blocks for this GTD, and they should definitely be able to squeeze out at least 800 horsepower from that platform. And considering the fact that it's going to have essentially a 50-50 weight distribution and the curb weight should be just over 3,200 pounds, I believe, with the official numbers that are out right now being 3,268 pounds for it, I definitely think that it should 100% be below 7 minutes. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below about Ford kind of using the 2020 GT500 main drivetrain as the platform for this Mustang GTD. And I know I say this in every video, but as a smaller car channel, if you want to consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing, it definitely helps me out a ton. And also, if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to have a pinned comment down below. Make sure to reply to that with your exact Nürburgring lap time prediction for this new Mustang GTD. If you get the exact number right before Ford, you know, puts out the number, I will Venmo or Cash App you $50. But that's just gonna wrap it up for today. I know it was a shorter video, but like always, I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.